One feature of low-powered WAN schemes for IoT is that they don't need a lot of processing power at the remote end, and that makes the environment a good candidate for emerging software-defined radio technology. Indeed, such an approach might make several issues at the client or gadget end go away for many applications. For instance, it could mean that customers wouldn't feel themselves locked in to a specific connectivity provider. They could change and/or enhance the radio protocols for a collection of internet-connected things as time goes by and conditions change. In this special report, we first set the scene from our visit to Internet of Things World in Berlin by asking about radio standards. Were there too many? The LoRa Alliance is one of the technology-led alliances advancing a low-powered WAN standard aimed specifically at the IoT. Here's its chair of the marketing committee, Tracy Hopkins, responding to the question, what's the most pressing issue in IoT today?
For me, there are several pressing issues. One is business models. How does anyone actually make money from seeing how full a dustbin is, seeing, where your cat's gone, seeing, how these smart city applications can make money, and that's one issue. The second issue is products. It's about, the network. Do you build the network and they will come, or do you work with end applications to make sure that you have things to connect to the network? And I believe that the LoRa Alliance is creating a solution to one of those problems by enabling, all bits of the value chain to be there, so that you can build business models based on sensors that you can purchase now.
So what are Tracy's takeaways from Internet of Things World?
My biggest takeaway will be that it's still very fragmented. There is still a lot of discussion about solutions that solve a complete vertical, or if you take a more sort of horizontal model and you build a network that can service many different applications. I think I've also validated my opinion that the IoT will not be dependent on one sort of technology. I believe that it will be a heterogeneous network whereby you will use cellular, satellite, cable, low-power radio, of all of the types of low-power radio, even Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And I think all of the applications will use the right connectivity that services their needs, be it QoS or long range or low power.
Kevin Price from IoT component distributor Future Connectivity Solutions agrees, saying there won't be one standard for everything. Customers will select from a range of technologies, so the idea that the industry needs to start sifting out protocols is just wrong.
There is a number of emerging standards at the moment, and we're seeing different standards for different types of radio protocol. So Bluetooth may have one standard, Wi-Fi may have another. There is not going to be a one solution fits everything. So to have a standardization for the IoT, in my opinion, is wrong. It's got to emerge over time. There will be standards for each type of technology, but each customer will select from all those technologies. It's a bit like the GSM path that was taken a few years ago. The IP for the products, the standards through GSM through to 3GPP have grown over a period of time, and they need to evolve as that happens. It would be wrong to set a standard today. But what is important is that you have interoperability. So for a particular radio protocol, like LoRa, like Wi-Fi, you need standards within that protocol, not a standard for the IoT.
So I asked Tracy, how important was openness and open standards going to be in IoT? It
depends where you look. I mean, if you take the example of a smart city, the end customers may not be B2C or B2C. They could be a local council. The type of customers that may want to use these IoT networks are very, very different. Some of them like open standards, some of them don't. So I think it will be a compromise. What I see as key is that the connectivity, people say it doesn't matter about the connectivity, it's all about the service, and that is true, but without any connectivity there is no service. And I genuinely think that the connectivity chosen will be dependent on any given application. So I believe the IoT networks that will really work are the ones that can address the various forms of connectivity to give the end customer the choice.
So customer choice gets major emphasis, which implies that no single radio standard or technology will be adequate. So here's the case for open source, software-defined radio technology. According to Maarten Ectors, VP Internet of Things at Canonical, it can be efficient and low cost once it's in full production. And it's a natural extension of the open adoption first approach pursued by the open source movement, of which Canonical, of course, is a leading member.
We don't care about standards in the sense that in the internet, what normally happens is somebody has a problem, makes a solution that works for it. Other people see it as a simple solution for a problem they also have, and it gets adopted. So adoption is more important than like everybody saying this is the standard and then nobody knowing how to program anything with it. So what can we do in our side? Well, any standard can be delivered as an app, and we can also abstract different standards. So if we take the lights around here, for instance, there might be 5 standards for controlling lights. We can just say, give me all the lights that you see in this building and switch them on and off independently of the standard, so that a developer can just make a very nice mobile app to then control all the lights. So you don't actually need IoT standards at this moment. You can do with 25, you just put them as an app on your devices.
So can this approach be made to apply to radio?
What I can show you is something new that is still in prototype, will come out very soon in the coming months as a crowdfunding campaign, which is the Arduino for the wireless engineer. It's the first cheap software-defined radio that is going to be a USB dongle that anybody will buy for under $100 and can implement whatever wireless technology. So it will be able to support LoRa, it will be able to support any IoT protocol, as well as LTE, GPS, even radar technologies or plain radio. So the future world of wireless will be apps putting standards on that device, or even making new wireless standards and putting them on GitHub. Again, adoption will be the driver for the wireless innovation, and we plan with a partner to disrupt this whole market, to make it super cheap for anybody to come up with new ways of doing wireless innovation. So here you put the protocol, and then this is the real innovation, which is where the remote wireless technology will meet the air waves. And then here you put antennas, and you can even have software-defined radio antennas now.
What about the all-important cost? You'd have to get it much cheaper than $100.
In the future, you'll have any device, and then you put an extension board that will cost probably around $5 that will allow you to put any type of radio technology on there. And as such, you can put today's standards, but also any future standards or any GitHub standard that comes out.
And how much interest have you had so far?
Let's say we get lots of interest from the telcos that want to see a lot of innovation happening in things like LTE that's currently not happening. Some people might think it's a disruption to their business, and we're a disruptive company, and that's why we do it.